All right, so yesterday we started 12.5 and we did the permutation part of 12.5. We said permutation is when order matters. And we learned two formula-ish. One was if you're trying to figure out the ways of, and you're using a full set, then the n factorial is what you would use, which is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 and so on and so forth. So this is if you're using the full set and order matters.
Wait, what's the difference between NPR and NCR?
Well, we're going to get to C today. We haven't done that yet. And then we talked about permutations when you're using part of the set where order matters, and that's your P and R. So it's n factorial over n minus r factorial. And again, this is part of a set. And order matters. They're all called permutations, okay? So you want to look for the words for how many ways can they be arranged, or the order be done, or first place, second place, those things that are specific spots. Those would be permutations. So number 1 says find the number of ways you can arrange all the letters in the word April, and then 3 of the letters. So A is all the letters, which how many letters are in April? 5, and 5 factorial would be? What's 5 factorial? Like all of you did this question, right? What's 5 factorial? 120. Even if you did it in your head, you should have the answer in front of you.
Yes, 120.
Yeah. Okay, and then B is 3 of the letters. So this is your P and R with N on the left, R being 3. You need to make sure you know how to do this with and without that calculator. So without the calculator, this would be 5 factorial over 5 minus 3 factorial. 5 factorial over 2 factorial. And then we break down the 5, 4, 3 to 2. You can cross through both 2 factorials, and I'd get 5 times 4, which is 20, times 3, which is 60. On your calculator, you have that P and R button, so you can do 5, P and R, 3, and you get the same answer.
Wait, couldn't you have just done 5 with the exclamation point? I mean 3 with the exclamation.
No.
Why?
Because it's not 3 and out of a set of 3. It's all the, so I could take, let's say I use this, right, word April. I could take APR, I could take API, I could take APL, I could take RPA, I could take IPA, I could take LPA. So you can use any 3 of the letters. So I could have done RIL, LIR. You have to account for all of them, not just 3.
I get it.
Okay. 2 says there are 8 students running for class president. The order of the student speeches is chosen at random. Find the probability that you are chosen first to give your speech and your friend is chosen second. So this is super important because we're going to, again, get into today where you have to start to see the difference between a combination and a permutation. Because it says first and it says second, I know order matters and this is permutation. And because it says probability, I know I'm not just finding the amount of ways, I'm trying to find the probability that they're done. So when you're doing probability, it's probability of the whole thing in the bottom, or sorry, the outcomes of the whole thing in the bottom. There's 8, so it'd be over 8 factorial. And then in the top, you want to take away the amount of times that you would be already set. So if you're first and you're second, how many are left to fill the rest of those spots? 6. So this would be 6 factorial over 8 times 7 times 6 factorial, which is 1 over 56.
Wait, why'd you do that 8 times 7 times 6 factorial?
Because you have to break the bigger factorial down until it hits the smaller factorial so you can cancel them out.
You always have to do that?
Yeah, because we want this answer to be an exact fraction.
You can't just do it on the calculator?
You'd have to do 6 factorial and then 8 factorial, and then you'd have to reduce it, which is a lot of extra work. All right, these, again, you need to know how to set it up without the calculator, and then obviously it's helpful if you've got that calculator to use it. So this would be 15 factorial over 15 minus 9 factorial. 15 factorial over 6 factorial, and then 15 would have to get broken all the way down.
Or we can just put it in the calculator.
Correct, for the love of God, for the 700th time, yes. If you do not have this calculator with you, if you were only given a 4 function or you were not given a calculator at all, you would need to know how to break it down the other way, okay?
Are we going to have to do that on the test?
Maybe just you. 1,816,214,400. Yep. So 1,816,214,400. Yep. Yep. And then the other one, 9 over 7. 9 times 8 times 7 over 7, which is 72. Okay, so any questions? Questions on the homework from last night? Okay, so we're going to continue 12.5. This is part 2. Today we are adding in combinations. The homework is not going to be just combinations, though. Part of the challenge is going to be actually figuring out if it's a permutation or a combination. So a combination... A combination is a selection of objects in which order is not important. You would use this when you're drawing for an identical prize. So if top 3 wins something, what's the probability you win something? Then this would be combination. If first, second, third wins something different, that's permutation, because first, second, and third are important, okay? If you are running for an office in which the offices are president and vice president, and you want to get one of those, that's a specific office, that would be permutation. If you are being elected to a board, let's say, now that's combination, because there's not a specific role within there. So if there's a specific place that you are shooting for, a specific spot, that's permutation, because order would matter. Whereas if it's just a general thing that you're shooting for, that's combination. So if we're talking about a race and I say you want to get first place, second place, or third place, that's permutation. But if I say you want to finish top 3, that's combination. The hardest part is figuring out the difference between those two. The order of the outcome, correct. So order does not matter. And it sometimes will literally say order does not matter. And then sometimes you have to figure out if order matters by the wording. So if it matters, it's permutation. If it doesn't matter, it's combination. So example 5 says count the combinations, which is a dead giveaway. It's a combination, not a permutation. But combination of 2 letters from the list of A, B, C, and D. So if I look at A, B, C, and D, combination could be A and B. And A and B and B and A are both one combination. So that doesn't count as 2 things.
So what would be D and A?
It could be A and C. It could be A and D. It could be B and C. It could be B with D. And it could be C with D.
Can it be A and A?
No. 2 letters. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 combinations of 2 letters from the list.
And why would you have B, A? Oh,
because the order doesn't matter from the combination. It's just a grouping of them. If it said you're trying to fill 2 spaces and you're pulling the letters, the words, how many different ways can you fill those spaces? Now it's a permutation, and that's where it's different. A, B would be different from B, A. So, no, good question. The formula is here, okay? Just like you have that P and R button on your calculator, you have a C and R button on your calculator, which is the number of combinations from n objects taken R at a time. So this is n factorial over n minus R factorial times R factorial. Combination C and R will always be less than P and R with the same numbers because you only count the 1, 2 as it is, not a 1, 2 and a 2, 1. So again, as we do these, we're going to do them without the calculator and then with the calculator. So look at 9 first. It literally just tells you exactly straight up what you need to do. So that's your N and your R. The N's on the left, the R's on the right. So without a calculator, this would be N factorial over N minus R factorial times R factorial. So it'd be 10 factorial over 10 minus 8 factorial times 8 factorial. Well, no, you can't multiply them. 10 factorial over 2 times 8 factorial. Good question. Yeah, you can't multiply them. But what I want to do is I want to break the bigger one down. So 10, the bigger one in the top, I want to break it down until I get to the bigger in the bottom. So the bigger in the bottom is actually 8. So I'm going to do 10 times 9 times 8 factorial over, I put the 8 factorial right underneath it because I know I'm going to cancel those out. But then I have to expand out the 2 factorial, which would be 2 times 1. Then I'm going to cancel out the 8 factorials. And I can go one step further by saying 2 would go into 10 5 times, and this would be 45. So on your calculator, you have that PRB button. You're going to do the same order. You're going to do 10. You're going to do PRB. You're going to scroll over to underline the CNR one, and then you're going to do 8.
And you should get
45.
That is cool.
So again, not every scientific calculator has that PRB button, which is why you want to make sure, the CNR button, which is why you want to make sure you understand how to do it both ways. And this could be, like, let's say standardized test, this could be on a portion that does not have a calculator.
Is it usually on like SAT and stuff?
They like probability.
Like this type of?
It won't say CNR, but it will be a word problem.
Will be like, well, we have to do 10 times 9 times 8
You could do it that. There are questions like that. Yeah, there could be permutations or combinations. All right, so 24 over 10, I would do 24. Then the PRB. Then the CNR. Then the 10. Yes.
Oh, are we doing it with the calculator?
You can set it up 24 factorial over 24 minus 10, which would be 14 factorial times 10 factorial. Now, without the calculator, you'd have to break it down a lot. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. So most likely it wouldn't be that big because you'd have to go all the way to 14, and then you'd have to break it down with all the little powers of 10. So something that big, you probably would not be expected to be on a part of without a calculator. Okay, so back to example 6, so back to the word problems. This one says you order a sandwich at a restaurant. You can choose 3 side dishes from a list of 8. How many combinations of side dishes are possible? Dead giveaway is the word combinations here. Okay.
It might be like a combination point.
Good guess. So what's my R? R is 3, and my N?
8.
8. So this is 8C3.
Hey, does it always go in that order? Like the first one is the second one, the second one's the first one?
No. It could have said from a list of 8, you're choosing 3. So 8 factorial over 8 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. This would be 8 over 5 times 3. And then we could break it. 8, 7, 6, 5 over 5, 3, 2, 1. And then the 5 factorials cancel. 2 goes into 3, 6, or into 6 3 times, and the 3's cancel out again. And it would be 56.
Correct.
Questions on that one? In the top, you mean?
On the bottom.
You have to break down the 3 factorial. So 3 factorial will be 3, then 2, then 1.
Could you please scroll up one slide?
All right, example 7 says a yearbook editor has selected 14 photos, including one of you and your friend, to use in a collage for the yearbook. The photos are placed at random. There is room for 2 photos at the top of the page. What's the probability your photo and your friend's photo are the 2 placed at the top of the page? So this is where it gets really important. You've got to be able to distinguish the difference between permutation and combination. Does it say like place 1 and place 2 at the top of the page? No, that would be a permutation, which places, like yours is in the first spot and your friend's is in the second spot. That's permutation. Because it says the 2 are placed at the top of the page, This is a combination. So we want to find the probability, which is why this one's going to be different. I want the probability that it's going to be yours and your friends over the total amount of combinations. So the combination C and R, given that N is 14 and 2 is my R, so it'd be 14 C 2 in the bottom because that's the total number of combinations that could work. And if order doesn't matter, how many of them would be you and your friend? That would be if order matters. If order matters, you go first, your friend goes second, that counts as 1, but friend goes first, you go second, that counts as 2. So how many is there if it's you and your friend? 1. Right? It's you and your friend together. Not you, then your friend, and not your friend, then you. It's just one combination of you and her or him. So it'd be 1 over that. So I do my 14 CNR 2, and I get 91. So this is different than what we did in the warm-up, and this is different from what we did yesterday because it said something about first and second. This is you and her are taken together, and it doesn't matter the order.
This is like not specific combination?
Correct.
And how can you put 1 over 14C?
Because there's one chance that you and her get picked. All right, go to 8. Your teacher randomly chooses 2 out of 18 students to give an impromptu debate on freedom of the press in high school newspapers. What's the probability that your teacher chooses you and your best friend? Does order matter? No. Does it say chooses you first and your friend second? No, order does not matter. So this is, again, combination. My N is what? 18. My R is 2. That's my denominator. And again, there's only 1.
Is it always going to be 1?
If there's only 2 of you, yeah.
What if it's
Well, there's always only 2 of you in these kind of scenarios, yeah.
It's always
When it asks for probability, then we put another 1?
For combination, yeah. So the CNR is 18, 2, and that's 153. I'm trying to think. If it was like you with either of your 2 friends, now it would be 2 out of 153. That's where you could see that.
Like on test.
So you want to get paired with one of your 3 friends. Now there's 3 choices out of the 153. Does that make sense? Okay. Sorry, what were you saying, Santi?
On the test, is it going to have more than 2?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to get that specific on test questions. If there are going to be more than 2. So I'm not going to get that specific on test questions. So when you see the big ideas assignment tonight, you'll see that there are some are just literally say like, is this a permutation or a combination? And is it because, and it will give you like 2 little spaces. If it's a permutation, then it's because, and it would say order matters or order doesn't matter. So permutation, order matters, combination, order doesn't matter, and then it will actually ask you to find it. So tonight's homework is not just combinations. It puts the 2 together so that you have to kind of question it. Remember, we have extra time today, so you've got time to work. You have till 10:15. You're going to work on big ideas, 12.5, day 2.